You need a moment, Mr. Diamond? Guys, take all the time you need.
I'm okay.
Bang, bang. Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
Bang. Enough time to think before you shot the other shot, Mr. Diamond? Bang. Enough time to make up your mind whether or not to pull the trigger, Mr. Diamond? Bang, bang.
Excuse me, Your Honor, may we proceed in due course with one question at a time rather than this summary?
Withdrawn. Bang.
You'll stand when you make an objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bang, bang. Do you think there was enough time between those two bangs to make up your mind whether or not to pull the trigger a second time?
I didn't make up my mind to pull the trigger, sir.
Well, if you had done it intentionally, Mr. Diamond, as opposed to accidentally, do you think there's enough time for you to think, bang, bang, whether or not to pull the trigger a second time? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, you are facing an extraordinary length of time in jail should you be convicted of this crime. Is that correct?
That's right.
You're facing, in fact, life without parole. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You will never see the light of day again as a free man should you be convicted. Is that right?
Yes.
And would you do anything to save the rest of your free life under those circumstances, Mr. Diamond?
Not anything, sir.
Would you, well, would you lie, Mr. Diamond?
No.
To get out of facing the rest of your life. How old are you, Mr. Diamond?
33.
What do you figure? You got another 50, 60 years of life ahead of you?
I sure hope so.
Now, as you're sitting there today, or before this trial began, looking at the possibility of 50 or 60 years in jail, are you telling us, I'm not saying you're lying right now, but are you telling us that you wouldn't lie under those circumstances to get yourself out of that potentiality?
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Now, if I understand your background, you're a judo or martial arts expert, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're a firearms expert, fair to say?
Small arms, specifically.
Specifically the type of weapon that was used in the death of Trudy Doyle, correct?
Yes.
You've got a great degree, perhaps the finest military training on earth under the Marine Corps, correct?
I sure did.
You served in real battle under extremely stressful circumstances, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you wounded in that war, by the way?
Yes, I was.
Did you receive a medal?
Yes, I did. I got a Purple Heart.
Fair to say you're a war hero as well, correct?
I never think of myself as that.
And you, in all of your training, the one thing that you learn in military training, in firearms training, but especially in your martial arts training, is how to get out of harm's way, right? Is that fair to say?
Sure, that's part of it.
Well, a large part of it is to get out of a bad situation and not exacerbate it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in getting out of harm's way, one of the things you know as an expert, and in fact teach as an expert, is to disarm an armed individual, correct?
Yes, sir.
By the way, in the martial arts, am I correct in understanding that the martial arts, amongst the self-defense methods that are practiced there, that they also teach, and you as an expert, I guess, have a high level of this, of an ability to relax under stressful circumstances. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
And wanted it, in particular, to maintain your calm and your ability to deliberate rationally under violent situations. Is that fair to say?
Violent situations?
Violent,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, in disarming someone with a firearm, the best way, and then this is what you're taught in any martial arts course, the best way to avoid somebody with a gun from shooting it is to get that gun out of the direction of pointing at you, correct?
That's fair to say.
And would it be fair to say that the first and primary technique in avoiding that gun is to swipe it to the side so it's not pointing at your body any longer, correct?
No, that's not. You could swipe it down.
Down would still be pointing at your legs or perhaps a vital organ of yours, correct?
Could be.
Up would be pointing at a vital organ of yours, correct?
Could be, sir. There are many different ways to disarm.
Is that correct,
someone.
Mr. Diamond, yes or no?
Yes, it is.
I understand there are many ways. That's what you were about to say, to disarm an individual, right?
Yes.
But the first, the best way to avoid being struck by a bullet is to make sure the gun isn't pointed at you, correct?
It's logical.
Right. And the best way, if it's available to you, if you can do it in certain circumstances, is to get the gun pointing in a different direction, to the side, not up or down at your body, correct? That's the best way, right?
It would depend on the circumstance.
Well, this gun with the safety off and cocked could go off accidentally at any time if someone's hand was still on the trigger, right?
Yes.
Sorry, Your Honor, this gun refers to the very Mauser in evidence, or is he talking in more hypothetical terms?
The Mauser, Your Honor, excuse me. I'm referring to your off-duty service gun, okay? The gun that was introduced in this case, that is your gun, right, the Mauser?
Yes.
Okay. People's number one, right?
Yes.
And that gun, in an uncocked, withdrawn, in a cocked position with the safety off, if someone's finger is on the trigger, can go off at any time, accidentally or intentionally, as long as there's pressure put on that trigger, correct?
That's correct.
So if it's pointed downward, it could accidentally shoot in the leg, right?
Yes.
If it's pointed upward, it's a threat to any vital organ in your body and could result in death to the person, correct?
Yes.
If it's off to the side, not pointing at you, it can't, even if it goes off, kill you or hurt you in that position, correct?
No, sir.
Is that correct or incorrect?
That's incorrect.
I'm talking about...
If the gun is fired in a small area, it could ricochet and still kill you.
You were standing in a vestibule on December 1st where there were glass plate windows surrounding you at a level of 4 feet, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about what could happen. The likelihood of a bullet hitting you, if it's upwards and it accidentally goes off and pointed at your chest, is 100%, right?
Yes.
If it's pointed at your leg, it's 100%, right?
Yes.
If I point it over there, the likelihood of it ricocheting is possible but very slim, right?
Depend on the circumstance.
Would you suggest to this jury that if the gun